Today, I'm going to try to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Y with only Bug-type Pokemon. Yes, that's right, we're going to try the hardest type of challenge in Gen 6 with what many believe to be the worst possible type. Now, I will admit, in terms of base stats and perhaps even type interactions, the Bug-type looks subpar on the face of it. But I truly believe that they have their own kind of value and that they've only gotten better, as we've gotten some heavy hitters since their weak start in Gen 1. However, this is still going to be quite the challenge. Let's see if we can beat Pokemon Y with only the first Bug-type that we find on each route, no items in battle, level caps in place, and the battle mode on set at all times. Today's video is sponsored by Mech Arena, a ridiculously fun PvP shooter for mobile and PC that I sincerely cannot put down. It is such a fun pick up and play game where giant mechs blow each other up in huge arenas, with fully customizable mechs that each have their own specialties. Install Mech Arena on mobile and PC using my personal link or this QR code and get a free starter pack worth $30 to help kickstart your game. And if you're quick, you can add me to your friends and who knows, we might get in some matches together. Thanks to Mech Arena for supporting the channel, and let's get into the run. Alright, here we go, Pokemon Y, a game that, well, my younger self might make fun of. I remember as a kid joking about them having to use letters for Pokemon games like Pokemon P version. And then, well, they did. But you know what, I can't complain. At least we have some Doduo appreciation in the intro scene. Right in the Ooh, a Wii U with a gamepad screen. I wonder how that will work out. Hey, little buddy. I didn't know you could sit on him already. He carries around humans all day. The least we could do is not sit on him while he's sleeping, I suppose. Meeting with our new group of degenerate friends, they ask me what I wish to be called, and you know it's gotta be Big Daddy. There's no other choice. Speaking of Big Daddies, it's time to pick our starter Pokemon, and the Alpha Chad pick here is obviously— okay, you know what, I can't even say this with a straight face. We're picking Chespin, alright, which will give Serena the most challenging Pokemon for our bug types, Fennekin. Without even getting to say hi to our starter, Shauna challenges us to battle, and thankfully we already have Vine Whip, as that would have made it easy enough, but we also got a crit on the very first move of the game to eviscerate her off the bat. Now that's what I like to see at the beginning of a run. Giving the handsome Professor Sycamore's letter to our mom, we— looks like Big Daddy's about to have a Big Daddy of his own. Up ahead, Serena gives us some Pokeballs, meaning our run has officially begun, and we can throw Chespin in the garbage. Sorry, buddy. Our first viable encounter can be found right here on Route 2, although there are a couple possibilities here. And it ends up being a Caterpie. I'll take it. We catch it and nickname her Molly, and Molly ends up having a gentle nature, which gives her plus special defense and minus defense stats. Not terrible. Heading into the Santaloon Forest, we continually get harassed by this girl. Would you leave me alone? Anyway, as if Shauna's not bugging me enough, our next encounter is found right here. Again, could be one of two things, and it ends up being a Weedle. Cool. I catch him and nickname him Benjamin, and Big Ben has a jolly nature, plus speed and minus special attack. Absolutely perfect. I am hyped about that. Well, if there's one good thing about bug types, they sure do evolve early, as at level 7, Molly evolved into a Metapod already, giving us some more defensive stats at least. Go crazy! Go stupid! Now, I wasn't quite expecting a challenge this early on, but we had a ridiculously close battle with a Pikachu up ahead as we got paralyzed by its static ability and got brought down to just 6 HP by Thundershock before I could switch into Benjamin to save the day with a final Poison Sting. Sheesh. I'll heal your Pokemon whenever you want me to. Yeah, how about right now? Benjamin is quickly rewarded for his efforts as he evolves into a Kakuna in no time, giving us even more bulk. For now, I'm gonna skip through Route 3 as there is an encounter that we can get here, but there's another special one I want to wait and grab later from here once we have Surf. With that, we arrive in Santaloon City, the location of the first gym. While training up for it, we have some wicked power-ups as we can finally evolve Benjamin into a Beedrill before the level cap at level 10. And he learns Fury Attack too. Google auto-corrected to Furry Attack though? Ben? Is there something you're not telling me? After that interrogation, we also have Molly fully evolve into a Butterfree and also learns Confusion, meaning I think we're just about ready for the first gym. Ironically enough, this is a bug gym and there's only one mandatory trainer near the end. Against her Kakuna, we could assert evolutionary dominance with his final form. Then, funnily enough, we could assert B dominance against her Combi. Too good. With that, we've officially reached the first gym leader, Viola, our bug-type arch-nemesis. Now, normally her team doesn't look too tough, but for this run, I'm a little terrified. She leads with a Surskit, so I send out Molly, who I learned has the Compound Eyes ability to increase accuracy. This allows us to reliably outspeed and sleep powder her, after which I can start loading up on Hardens to raise our defense. I then hit a Confusion for only about a quarter before she wakes up, but just uses Water Sport. Good job, Sport. I hit another to a third before she lands a mere bubble, but she gets the speed drop. Oh no, that is devastating. Regardless, one more attack finishes her off after she out-prioritized us with a quick attack. In comes her ace, the big threat, Vivillon, who immediately hardens before we put her to sleep. I only get one Confusion in before she wakes up and hits a tackle. Then she lands Infestation, which does residual damage every turn as we're brought to about half already. The problem here being, it no longer makes sense to waste a turn trying to put her to sleep, so we just have to go for this. We're both brought to a quarter, then we bring each other into the red, and her Infestation leaves us at 3 HP. The problem is, we have one singular turn left of Infestation and it doesn't let you switch as soon as you're hit with it, so I land one last Confusion before she potions and Molly goes down. Ouch. From there though, we can at least send Benjamin in, who can take her down in a couple Fury attacks. That early wake up was so unfortunate, and trapping us while using a potion too? That's just rude. We got the first badge, but at a cost. You know what? Just for that, let's go hit on Viola's older sister. Huh? What's that? An XP share? Huh, that would be good for our other Pokemon.
If I had one!
Route 4 is upon us, where we can find a new encounter, one of two possible team additions here, and get ready, this one's a banger. Lediba. Yup. I catch it and nickname him Richard, who has a serious neutral nature. I am very thankful we didn't get a Combi here though, as they are overwhelmingly male, meaning we likely would have gotten one that we couldn't evolve. A bit further on, and we find an item that Benjamin can make great use of, the Poison Barb, to boost the power of our poison moves. Next up, the biggest city in Kalos, and the franchise until this point, Lumios. A lot of people don't know this, but at the closest Pokemon Center here, you can actually get Unreal TMs even this early on, as they have things like Bulldoze and even Swords Dance too. And there is a real danger up ahead that is going to make us need the latter. So after collecting some more money, I grabbed the Swords Dance TM for a cool 10 grand. And funnily enough, while teaching it to Benjamin, I realized Lediba can learn Swords Dance too? Okay, I'm not complaining, just kinda odd. Now that danger I was talking about, it's Professor Sycamore, who battles us with the 3 Kanto starters, and I mean, look at our team. We suck. He leads with a Bulbasaur, so I lead with Ben and Swords Dance immediately, but he Leech Seeds us. Not good. I go for another, and thankfully we 4 times resist Grass moves, so we can load up a final one before using a Fury attack, and we only got a 2-hitter that left him in the red. This leaves us on just a third before, yup, in comes a Charmander of all things. I go for Poison Sting, and it doesn't quite KO, but he just used Smoke Screen, so another takes him down. Whew. Knowing we likely won't KO his Squirtle reliably, I switch into Lediba here. Thankfully, he had just learned Light Screen and Reflect, so using them I can raise our defenses, then use 3 Swords Dances to give Richard even a hope of doing any damage. And in the end, we take him down with a final tackle with just 10 HP left. Sheesh. I don't think I've ever had a tough time with that battle until now. Huh, I wonder what the 2 of them are doing here together. Wouldn't you like to know? Wait until you're older, sweet child. Okay, so from listening in on this conversation, it seems that Lysander doesn't want to get old and wants to stay beautiful? Wait, is that the whole plot of this game, just Lysander's aesthetic insecurities? Like with Swords Dance, I just love it!
Are you sure about that?
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
Well, we do get some relief here as we can grab some Oran Berries finally, and in Camphor Town we can also grab the Thief TM to start picking up type boosting items off wild Pokemon. Not only that, but we also get access to the berry fields, and weirdly enough there's a plethora of encounters that we can get here depending on what color tree that we grow. But that does take a full day, so we'll have to come back. Hitting up the giant Parfum Palace mansion, and it costs money to go inside? This is exactly how the rich get richer. What will happen next? Find out next time on Shauna Becomes a Communist. Okay, so this rich dude's got a massive melodic statue. Yeah, he's a Cynthia simp. No question about it. Okay, just because you guys liked this last time, you know, I've never watched fireworks alone with a boy before. For nearly blowing up the universe, the butler gives us the Protect TM, which I think is actually going to come in handy for our very next encounter found on Route 6, an Nincada, which I catch and nickname Margaret. Margaret ends up having a quiet nature plus special attack and minus speed. Ew, terrible, and this is going to omit the Scolipede line too, as it's found in the same place. But we have just used one in a recent run, so I want to try out a future Ninjask instead. Oh hey look, a fellow Big Daddy. How do you do, good sir? Oh gotcha, wait a minute. The encounters don't end there, as on Route 7 we can find one of two, and oh damn it, we got Illumise, which I nicknamed Beth. Are you kidding me? Not only that, but it has a brave nature, plus attack and minus speed. Brutal. Volbeat gets Tail Glow by level up in this game. I'm so mad. This cuts it out as a possible encounter. Hey, Trevor? What is that? With the Cut HM now in hand, we can get some other great items, including perhaps the best one in the game for us at the moment, the Silver Powder, to boost our bug moves. Arriving in Ambret Town, the girl here generously gives us the Rock Smash TM, and oddly enough, this actually unlocks another bug encounter for us, as on the Route 8 beaches we can repeatedly smash them to find a Dwebble, which I catch and nickname George. George has a brave nature plus attack and minus speed, which is overall pretty good, and has the shell armor ability so we can't get crit. Cool. Hitting up the research lab, ooh, a Dragonite skull? Hey, can I have that? Absolutely not. What?
So no head?
Making our way through the glittering cave, we find the Hardstone, a perfect item for Dwebble. Wait a minute. The Rocky Cave, Dwebble, a Hardstone, Rock Smash? Next you're gonna tell me that the Rolling Stones have a rock concert here. Oh, son of a b****. Well, I must admit, George displays some massive power against Team Flare, as a lot of their Pokemon are weak to the rock type like Houndour and Zubat. Along the way we get another evolution as Richard evolves into a Ledian. What power? Well, after one of the biggest gaps between gyms in Pokemon history, reminds me of Veilstone and Diamond and Pearl, we finally reach Silage City, where the next gym is. It took me a while to try and figure out how we might stand a chance here, and in the end, I ended up realizing that the Berry Fields and Route 7 are actually the same location technically, so I went back to Route 3 to grab a Burmy, who I nicknamed Mary and who has a hardy neutral nature. Hitting up the gym, I've always found the whole rock climbing element pretty cool, but I didn't even know these benches were here. Huh. Now, given that we likely can't defeat a single one of the trainers in here, and I'm serious about that, I came up with a solution. We got a rare candy from the Parfum Palace, so we can use it on Burmy indoors to evolve her into a Wormadam trash form. And trust me, she's not gonna be trash, as she's gonna be our only hope. After training her up in HP and defense big time, we also have Margaret evolve into a Ninjask, but I don't think she'll be useful here. And that also goes for the Shedinja that we got from evolving her. With that, let's say our prayers, as it's time for the second gym leader, Grant, the Rock-type specialist. Yup, we're doomed. He leads with an Amora and I send out Beth. It looks weird, I know, but Beth has a crucial move here, Charm, to drop his attack by 2 points, after which he paralyzed us. He then hits a Refrigerate takedown before I use Encore. Amazing. Now I can safely switch into Mary, who resists it, being part steel. This was a long back and forth between Takedown and Bug Bite, especially given that he Hyper Potioned as we brought him into the red, but thankfully, even after Encore ends, we resist all of his moves, so we eventually take him down with over half health remaining. And here comes my big plan. Leveling up after he goes down, meaning we learn the Steel-type Mirror Shot move. Amazing. Keep in mind, in Hardcore Nuzlocke you can level up mid-battle, you just have to be at or below the level cap when the battle starts. In comes Tyron, who hits a Bite, Our Oranberry helps, then Mirror Shot does huge damage on him. It all depends if we flinch here, as that could literally end our run, but we don't as we survive on just 11 HP and slam him with a final attack for the win and our second badge. I can't believe we just did that deathless. Let's go. With strength in hand, we can now pick up the Thunderwave TM on Route 9 that I think might come in handy, and we can also find a new encounter here. This time, a Yanma, which we found in a horde, so I could just kinda scout out which ones have speed boost. In the end, we caught one I named Catherine, and she has an impish plus defense and minus special attack nature. Man, we are not having good nature luck today, are we? Leaving Geosenge, we have a bit of a scary battle as Corinna comes in with her 2 Lucarios which resist the bug type. Regardless, I came up with a pretty good strat, I think. I led with Beth and taught her Thunder Wave so I could paralyze the first one and lower its attack with Charm hugely, then switch into George safely. I could then use Rock Polish to raise our speed, and she either used Metal Sound or stayed paralyzed so I could hit 3 bulldozers in a row to take her down practically untouched. Incredible. Her second Lucario did get a Swords Dance off, but only went for priority feint for some reason. I think our speed being higher triggered her into doing so a few more attacks win us the battle from there. Much smoother than I thought. As a reward, we can finally pick up some citrus berries ahead on Route 11, which are going to be crucial moving forward. Reflection Cave up ahead serves as a reminder as to just how much Mary saves us, being able to resist flying types like Doduo that would otherwise destroy our whole team, and even gives us a way to take on tough fairy types like Granbull too. In here, we also grab the black belt item, which I think will be a huge benefit for a special later encounter. I like to leave my fiancé behind and wander off by myself sometimes. He's so cute when he's scared. Huh, a straight up sadist in a Pokemon game. Cool. Running from that woman as fast as we can, we arrive in Shallower City, the location of the 3rd gym. The Pokemon Center here has some more amazing TMs for us, like a better Bulldoze alternative in Dig, and also Massive Power Poison Jab for Benjamin too. Nice. Hitting up the Tower of Mastery is always quite a cool thing as it's an impressive sight for the 3DS, but beyond that we also have a big challenge in here, our rival Serena, who challenges us to battle. It took me a while to theorycraft for this one as she's got a scary team, but eventually the idea dawned on me. She leads with a Meowstic, so I send out Margaret. She uses Fake Out on us, but we get the speed boost from it, and then I use Swords Dance to raise our attack too. She just went for Light Screen, so a stab super effective Fury Cutter demolishes her from there. And after her Absol just hits a quick attack, the same goes for it as well, as Fury Cutter increases in power each consecutive turn that it's used. In comes a massive threat for our whole team though, Brazen, but after the attack raise and with the Dig TM in hand, we can take it down in one hit as well. Wicked. So I lost then? I love how our trainer's just like, yes the f*** you did. What a savage. It's time for the 3rd gym leader, Corinna, the fighting type specialist, and for her I was very sad that Yanma can only evolve right at the level after the level cap, but we have an alternative for sure. She leads with a Mienfoo, and this gives us the perfect opportunity to Swords Dance twice with Margaret, as it can't do much to us at all with all resisted moves. Having went back to get the Aerial Ace TM from the connecting cave, this means we have a stab super effective +4 way to eviscerate it, her Machoke that comes in next as well, and with speed boost in effect, even her beastly Hawlucha as well. Now that's some power. 3 badges. This girl just won't leave us alone though, as we're forced to battle Mega Lucarios with her. I love how the only achievable hardcore type locks are technically fighting or steel because you're technically forced into breaking the rules by her. Oh, for f***'s sake, we got crit here too? I'm outta here. To ease my pain, it's time to get an actual viable fighting type, as on Route 12 we have a 5% chance to find a Heracross. Unreal. I catch it and nickname her Victoria, and Victoria has a timid plus speed and minus attack nature. Half good and half bad, but I'll take it, and I'm going to replace our good old Ledian with her for now. Now having access to Surf, we can go across the route and get a crazy good item, the Leftovers. And this was my last happy moment, as guys, I made a dumb mistake. I had no idea that this random trainer's Tauros had Pursuit of all things, so I switched Margaret out before we learned Baton Pass, and yup, Margaret got taken down. She could have been a stellar baton passer that I was actually kind of banking on for a lot of my strategies. Uh-oh. Well, welcome to the team, Yanma. We quickly arrive in Coumarine City, and unfortunately this girl that gives you one of 4 TMs decides not to make it acrobatics, which would have been great for us. At least we can get the Sky Plate here to boost Yanma's flying moves. Just in front of the gym, we run into one of our least favorite people who says, "So, could you show me Mega Evolution?"
Don't ask me to do that.
Now, unfortunately, this time we don't have our auto-win strategy anymore after Margaret's death, so I came up with an alternative plan with our new catch. Against Meowstic, we got 3 pin missile hits to KO with our silver powder attached. Then, thankfully, my speed calcs were correct as we got a huge dig on Brazen, but it just barely doesn't KO, and she nailed us with Fire Spin to below half before we took her down with an Aerial Ace. Then, in comes her final Pokemon, Absol, whose worst nightmare is a Heracross if I'm honest, so one super effective attack demolishes her for the win. Not bad. While training up for the gym, we have some massive team upgrades as Catherine finally gets to evolve into a monster Yanmega, which I'm incredibly excited to use, and George also evolves into a Crustle, which should help us out big time type-wise. The 4th gym is upon us, led by none other than the leader, Ramos. What the hell is that needle thing you're holding? Now, Ramos' team is grass type, but he starts off with a big threat for us actually. A fast jump fluff with 110 power stab super effective acrobatics. But I think I have the perfect answer as I lead with Catherine. I can protect on the first turn to activate speed boost, letting us be faster than it, the only thing on our team that would be. Then Aerial Ace barely doesn't KO as acrobatics immediately takes us below half. Sheesh. After he heals, we can then hit him with an Ancient Power to try for the Omni Boost, but to no avail. From there, his Go-Goat hit us once with Takedown to just 17 HP before 2 Aerial Aces did the job. Then, in came his final Pokemon, Weepinbell, which succumbed to a single Aerial Ace for the victory. Better than I was expecting, actually. Up ahead at the Team Flare Power Plant, George's typing does indeed come in handy, as I'll let you imagine just how difficult things like Houndoom and Golbat would be for this team otherwise. I tried to hide in here, but I think I got stuck. Well, it turns out that intro theme got this giant tower excited as it's time for the Lumiose City Gym. After enduring the worst trivia of my life, we reach the top where Gym Leader Clement awaits us. An electric gym is a neutral one for us, but I think we have a really good shot at this. He begins with an Emolga, which can be tricky since it's part flying, but we do have the perfect answer, George, who tanks a Volt Switch before getting a Rock Polish off, making him blazing fast as Magneton comes in. Because it has Sturdy, I hit him with a mere Bug Bite to break it, then after his Electric Terrain, devastate him with a 4x damage Dig KO with the Soft Sand attached too. Now that we outspeed it, we can do the exact same to his Heliolisk, and finally, even though his Emolga is immune, we can merely switch to our newly learned Rock Slide for the clean sweep and our 5th badge. Beautiful. Do you know where the Holocaster is made? They're made in Lysander's lab. Lysander is a great man. Hello, Big Daddy! Hello, little children. Well, it's another Serena battle, meaning another strategy, as I realize Victoria isn't going to be able to cut it against a fully evolved Delphox now. I lead with George this time and Rock Polish immediately after she did a bit of damage to us, then can outspeed with the X-Scissor Knockout. In comes the massive threat, Delphox, and my calcs were wrong it seems as she nails a Psybeam before us, but we survive on less than half and thankfully land the stab super effective Rock Slide, and it indeed does enough. As for Absol, well, you know the drill by now, right? Hey look, it's a slide! Yay. Now up ahead on Route 14, I made a massive mistake. I had written down all of my encounters and was searching for one of 2, but ended up finding a Skorupi, which I had only written down as appearing on Route 15 because we could have gotten either a Carablast or Shelmet. Since both of those only appear on one other route, that means we can't evolve either of them, as they have to be traded to each other, and this was our damn encounter here. To top it all off, Skorupi loses its bug type upon evolving, meaning we can't even evolve the damn thing. Naturally, I decided to name it this. Well, that was depressing, but not quite as depressing as our next destination, the rainy, gloomy Lavere City. Alright, I'm kidding, this place has a charm to it. Well, it's time to overhaul our outfit and actually look like a bug-catching trainer. Goodness gracious, $16,000? This better be Gucci. Now while prepping for this next gym, it's looking quite tricky, but I realized something while going through our boxes. I think it's time to bring on a different team member. The Laver gym is kind of a strange one, being a whole dollhouse setup with the teleportation panels. Kind of reminds me of a mix between Sabrina's video game and anime counterparts now that I think about it. The 6th gym leader is Valerie, the fairy type trainer, and as I said, her team is indeed quite tricky. She leads with a Mawile that thankfully doesn't have Intimidate, so I lead with George. Essentially, since she doesn't have a Steel move, I just repeatedly hit it with Dig, although she kept using Iron Defense, so it took me a while to whittle her down, even with a super effective move. Then in comes Mr. Mime, and here I make a crucial switch into our Shedinja. You see, looking at both her Mr. Mime and Sylveon's moves, they don't have a single status move nor attacking move that can affect Shedinja at all. So even though she used Reflect, I can load up on Hone Claws to raise her attack to sky-high levels, then devastate her Mr. Mime in one stab super effective Shadow Claw. Her Sylveon was a bit more troublesome with Charm too, but again, it was just a matter of time as we eventually get the job done with this demonic insect. Up ahead in the Pokeball Factory, we can pick up an item that is going to be of pivotal importance later on. A Metal Coat. Not bad at all. And not only that, but we can finally reach a spot I've been waiting to get to forever. Dendemille Town. Why, you might ask? Well, the move reminder is here, which means we can finally make Catherine actually good by getting upgrades in the form of both Bug Buzz and Air Slash instead of physical moves. Dat power though. But you know what I love about this town the most? It's home to my biggest fan!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I decided to make a detour on the Mamoswine riding route nearby and found this ridiculous labyrinth and wait a minute, Game Freak programmed all of that for just a calcium? Literally, there was no other reason for all of this. Right outside the Anastar gym, we get harassed by Serena again, and although I went with the same strat, it was much more dangerous this time around, as her Meowstic not only used Psychic, but also got the special defense drop. This meant that if my damage or speed calcs were wrong, or we missed Rock Slide on Delphox, we were toast. That thing would literally sweep our entire team with ease, but thankfully they all came into alignment, and we even managed through her new Jolteon too. Up next, the Anastar gym. Whoa, what was in those Slowpoke tails? Having learned Iron Head by level up, Mary now does amazing against the trainers, resisting Psychic and being able to take down big threats like Gardevoir even. The 7th gym leader is Olympia, a Psychic type specialist, and her team looks a bit tricky on the face of it with a part Flying type, but ultimately with the Silver Powder attached, I could lead with George, the perfect counter, and Rock Polish. Although she did get up a Reflect, so Rock Slide did just over half, but we got the flinch. Seeing the opportunity, I decided to go for Rock Polish a couple more times to help the Reflect go down, as I know that her Slowking is a huge threat, and we got brought down to a quarter before Sigilyph went down. Then I could slam Slowking with an X-Scissor and indeed get the one-hit KO. Nice. Our final Pokemon is Meowstic, and with the extra boost, we can outspeed even it to win us the 7th badge. Not too shabby. So, remember that real great guy that Sycamore was talking about? Well, he just went on a sudden outburst about using the ultimate weapon to end life on Earth, so, can someone check this guy? Alright, fine, I'll do it myself. Hitting up the secret entrance of Lysander Labs, we run into Lysander himself, who challenges us to battle. His team is terrifying for a bug team with 3 Pokemon super effective against bug, and I spent forever trying to figure out how in the world we deal with an Intimidate Gyarados, but came up with a plan in the end. He leads with the Mienfoo, so I lead with Victoria. I could go for the super effective Aerial Ace right off the bat to take it down, then in comes Murkrow. Again, being 4 times weak to flying, this is quite nerve-wracking, but I know we can outspeed with our plus speed nature, so I go for the neutral close combat, and it gets the job done. From here, another one can take down another huge threat, the Fire-type Pyroar. Then in comes the Gyarados, which intimidates us. But I noticed something. He doesn't have a single dark or flying move on him, so I brought Shedinja along, which makes it impossible for him to hit us, and a few Shadow Claws save us from destruction. Whew. I wonder what's down in the basement. Oh my. You know, this looks a lot like something that sounds a lot like BDSP. I wonder what this button does. Oh no. Did I just kill millions of people? After Lysander begins to cry over spilled legendaries, we battle him again, taking him out in much the same way as before, even though he had a fully evolved Mienshao and Honchkrow this time. It turns out, a freaky kink wasn't the only thing that Lysander was hiding in his basement, as there's also a legendary Pokemon down here. And thank goodness I remembered that you can't change your lead Pokemon between this and the final Lysander battle. But I did forget that you're forced to capture the legendary in these games, as I spent forever trying to figure out and successfully defeating a flying type legendary with a bug team. Well, here we go. The final battle with Lysander against his ultimate team and, well, strange device that he wears. I mean, what even is that? He leads with his Mienshao and I send out Victoria. Thankfully, our plus speed nature allows us to outspeed, as acrobatics would destroy us in one shot. Then, thanks to his Honchkrow's slower speed than Murkrow and his low defense, close combat nails him as well. And the same goes for his Pyroar too, with that part normal type. Then, in comes his Gyarados, intimidating us off the bat. Now here's the key. It occurred to me at the last moment that when he Mega Evolves, he gets Mold Breaker, meaning Shedinja's ability would not work at all. So I pivoted my plan and went into Mary, but Aqua Tail still does massive damage. Since he doesn't have a flying move though, I realized it's safe to switch into Victoria so long as he doesn't get a crit with Aqua Tail, and he doesn't, so we can outspeed and slam him with a now stab super effective black belt boosted 120 power close combat to demolish not only his Mega, but his hopes and dreams too. Let's go! Our journey next brings us to Route 18, where technically we could get another encounter, a Shuckle, but it's a 5% chance in the Rock Smash rocks here. As much as I love Shuckle, I ain't doing this unless we need it. I just can't. What I can do though is hit up the Terminus Cave, where we can grab yet another cool encounter, this time a Durant from a Horde, which I catch and nickname William, and who has a modest nature, plus special attack and minus attack. Absolutely disgusting. I'm sick of these damn natures. While leaving Kuroe Town, we have a rematch with the idiot who trusted Lysander, Professor Sycamore, who now has all 3 fully evolved Kanto starters. It's a tough battle, but I realized that Catherine actually has a decent shot here. We can OHKO his Venusaur with Air Slash, and then in comes his Charizard. A big threat for our team, but don't forget that we have Ancient Power still, which is 4 times super effective and gets the job done instantly. All that's left is his Blastoise, and we hit him with Air Slash below half, hoping for the flinch, but we don't get it, although weirdly enough he just went for Iron Defense of all things, so another wins us the match. Some professor you are. In one of the houses nearby, this girl gave us a quiz, and it turns out if you get it wrong, which I did, twice, you can just redo it over and over. Bingo! I knew you'd get it! I'm so glad you got it right! Here, this is your reward! Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're extremely kind.
On the bridge up ahead, we have a huge challenge. 3 rival fights, and the first 2 are consecutive, meaning no healing. It took a while to plan since you can't change your lead between the battles, but let's see how we fare. Against Shauna, I led with Victoria in order to OHKO her Delcatty with Brick Break. Then I could do the same against her Greninja, which is part dark after all, and we even outsped it too. Then her Goodra was able to be smashed in one hit with a superpowered close combat too. Next up, Tierno, who's a bit trickier. He led with the damn Talonflame, our entire team's worst possible nightmare. I had to switch, so I sent in George, and we tanked acrobatics quite well surprisingly. Then her second attack brought us below half before we hit the 4 times damage Rock Slide KO. Crawdaunt could then be handled by a switch into Catherine for the Bug Buzz super effective KO, and finally his Roserade was of course easily answered by Air Slash. The final rival battle is against Trevor, and his Raichu could be beaten into the ground with Brick Break. Then another brutal threat for bugs comes in, Aerodactyl. Thankfully, we have a safe switch in Wormadam who tanked Skydrop and could respond with a stab super effective Iron Head. Then his fairy type Florges. Well, I could have left Mary out there, but for extra effect I switched into Benjamin as we haven't seen him for a while, as he hit the stab super effective Poison Bar boosted Poison Jab to finish off our rivals. I think we planned those out pretty well. With that, we arrive in the final gym location, Snowbell City, a serene place. Although one of the girls in the houses who gave us the bulk up TM wouldn't stop yelling at me, so there goes that serenity. Now, knowing what the next gym entails, I went ahead to Route 21 to pick up our next encounter, which ends up being a Scyther, which I catch and nickname Arthur. Arthur has a gentle plus special defense and minus defense nature, meh, and I'm going to add him to the team in place of Shedinja for now. After trade evolving him with the metal coat, we get a wicked final stage Pokemon, Scizor. One that I don't think we've used before in our runs, so I can't wait. Bringing him and 2 other steel types along with us, it's time for the Snowbell Gym. And, I mean, come on guys, it's in the names, there's ice types everywhere. But Arthur performs miraculously in here with Bullet Punch and Iron Head crushing the trainers with his fists. Or pincers, whatever those are. The 8th and final gym leader is Wolfric, and his team is quite an interesting one. Interesting, I say, because Arthur is very curious as to just how quickly he can eviscerate each and every one of his Pokemon, iron-heading his Abomasnow into oblivion, taking the opportunity to Swords Dance against Avalugg so he can be one-shot as well, and so that we can avoid getting outsped with Confusion against his Cryogonal by using Priority Bullet Punch to shatter him and win us the 8th and final badge. You know what time it is. Time to enter one of the most beautiful gateways in the entire franchise and arrive at our last test, Victory Road. The place went by pretty smoothly, except we have our final rival battle with Serena near the end, and boy oh boy has she become powerful, and has a new team member, Altaria. Of course, another flying type. This team is quite crazy for a bug team to handle, but I made sure to level us very close to the cap, and we had a saving grace in the form of the Earthquake TM being available on Route 22. That gave us the ranges that Dig wouldn't have, and allowed us to avoid having to rely on Rock Slide's imperfect accuracy too, except when it came to Altaria. All in all, George with the Rock Polish strat came in clutch, saving us from the depths of despair yet again. Well, we've arrived. The final destination, the Kalos region, Pokemon League. After fulfilling all the rest of our EVs, theory crafting like a madman, and getting any remaining items and TMs that we need, it's time for the Elite Four. And can I just say, look at those Elite Four types. Not a single easy one for us, in fact, all difficult. What the hell, man? The first Elite Four member is Malva, the Fire type expert. Yup. But we have a saving grace in the form of George. It's just that we need to have a perhaps not lucky, but at least fortunate and smooth battle here. Let's see what happens. She leads with a Pyroar and it hits us hard with Flamethrower, but no burn, thank God, before we Rock Polish. From there, a massive Earthquake does the job. In comes Torkoal next, which has massive defense, and Lava Plume, which has a 30% chance to burn, which would end us, but I know Rock Slide might KO, but it just barely doesn't as we miss the range, but she flinches. Oh man! So after she heals a couple times, we can finish her off with a couple Earthquakes to ensure accuracy. In comes another huge threat, Talonflame, as she still outspeeds even after the Rock Polish with a Flare Blitz, but no crit, so we survive it, and thankfully hit the Rock Slide too for the KO. Her final Pokemon is Chandelure, and we can go for the safe Earthquake to win us the battle. Alright, a good start. The second Elite Four member is Wickstrom, the Steel Trainer, and I think our best bet here is to fight Steel with Steel, as I send out Arthur against his Klefki. With that thing having Spikes and Torment, it can be tricky, but we resist all his offensive moves, so I take the opportunity to Swords Dance twice, before then landing a neutral Iron Head for the knockout. In comes Probopass, which has Sturdy unfortunately, so I hit it with Thief before he lands a Power Gem for huge damage before our Berry helps. Then we can Brick Break it to take him down. Up next, Aegislash, which is why I taught Thief to Arthur, but he uses King's Shield, which lowers our attack and prevents any damage. We're still very powered up though, so I hit him again, but due to that drop and his stance, he survives it and hits us to the red with Shadow Claw before another takes him down. However, his final Pokemon is a Scizor of his own, and at this point I realize I have no idea how to deal with it. Like, none at all, as the beginning didn't go as smoothly as I'd hoped. I have to switch, so I go into Victoria, but the Spikes combined with Bullet Punch bring us to half almost instantly. I know an Iron Head would KO us despite how badly I want to click Close Combat, but ultimately I switch into Mary. It's hard for either of us to do damage on each other, but with leftovers, I just try to whittle him down with Bug Bite as much as possible. But he eventually gets a crit Night Slash out of nowhere and takes down our beloved Mary. Damn it. Well, at least we brought him within range of a close combat from Victoria, who I know could have survived a bullet punch anyway. That was a tough loss, as Mary's typing was really helpful, but we made it through at least. Next up, Drasna, the Dragon-type expert, and again a tough challenge. She leads with a Dragalge, and I lead with Victoria. I Swords Dance right away before getting hit by Sludge Bomb, then can Earthquake that thing into the void. But unfortunately she sends out Noivern next. I thought it would be Altaria, but this thing we cannot outspeed. Our only possible answer here is George, who tanks Air Slash with 2/3 remaining. Dragon Pulse then brings us into the red before Rock Slide just barely doesn't KO on like 1 HP. No way! Why? This is not good. I know she'll full restore though, so I just have to hope that we can get a higher range on this attack, and we nail her with a crit. Unbelievable. George, you legend. In comes Altaria now, and I switch in Arthur, who dukes it out with her, being able to do way more neutral damage in the end and taking her down with relative ease. Then in comes her final Pokemon, Druddigon. Ironhead does over half, but Rough Skin combined with Revenge do huge damage to bring us to the red. I have no choice at this point though, so I hit her again and we KO, and Rough Skin leaves us on just 12 HP. Damn, that was a close one, but we made it. The last Elite Four member is Seabold, the water trainer, and again, a brutal team, but I have an inkling of how we can try and handle him. He leads with a Clawitzer, so I send out Catherine as he doesn't have anything super effective against us. Our Bug Buzz does 2/3 before his Water Pulse brings us low before our Berry then helps out, and then we can take him down with another. But unfortunately he brings out Barbaracle next, a nightmare for us. Here I switch into Arthur as Stone Edge hits us for a third. I hit him with super effective Brick Break for over half, then he lands another Stone Edge, and not only that, but gets a crit as well, smashing Arthur to the ground immediately. No! I was depending on him like crazy for our next battle. Well, it's now or never, as Victoria wants revenge for her boyfriend and Swords Dances before tanking a Stone Edge over half. Earthquake then demolishes him, and in comes Starmie next. Here I went for Earthquake thinking it would KO, but he survives it in the red and I was like, no! But he just light screens so we could EQ twice more after he heals to take it down. In comes his final Pokemon though, Gyarados with Intimidate, the bane of our existence. I have no choice, so I go for Rock Slide, still having a +1 attack at least, and it barely doesn't KO in the red, but he flinches, yes! So a close combat from there wins us the last battle. Unreal. Victoria coming in clutch for her beloved Arthur. You love to see it. It's time. The final battle, the champion of the Kalos region, Diantha. And we have just 4 Pokemon left. With such a diverse team on her end, I don't know how I'm feeling about this, but after theory crafting for a while, let's just give it a try. She leads with a Hawlucha, of course, a flying type, but I lead with Catherine. She would outspeed us, but I can use Protect to activate Speed Boost and then nail her with an Expert Bell boosted Air Slash to KO right away. Sick. But in comes Tyrantrum next. Why is everything super effective against Bug in this damn game? I have no real choice here though, so I go for Air Slash hoping for the flinch, but we don't get it, and 4 times damage Head Smash vaporizes Catherine. RIP. But I have a plan here. I send out Victoria and take the chance to Swords Dance as I know she's gonna full restore here, and she does. You know the drill. Close combat, meet Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum,
meet your doom.
Incredibly, the same then goes for Goodra and 4 times weak Auroras too before Gourgeist comes out and survives a Thief in the red somehow before vanishing for Phantom Force. I don't fear it too much though, so I stay in, but she slams us down to just 5 HP. Holy, that was close. After her berry, I have a feeling I know what's coming, but I have no real option with only 3 Pokemon left, so I let Victoria go to a Shadow Sneak. This allows me to try to pull off my ultimate plan, nail Gourgeist with a Poison Jab for the KO with Benjamin, then in comes her final Pokemon, Gardevoir, which immediately Mega Evolves. But the almighty power of Benjamin the Beedrill is too much, wiping her off the map with a final stab super effective Poison Bar boosted Poison Jab for the Mega Destruction. And the championship. I can't believe we pulled that off. What a league run. And as if that wasn't enough, we had the final post-game battle against AZ when we're supposed to be celebrating. I'm gonna be honest, I had no hope here with only 2 Pokemon left, but Benjamin's power is unfathomable. Surviving a Stone Edge from a Torkoal and getting Swords Dance off, then annihilating both it and his Sigilyph that came out with Poison Jab. Then, miraculously, his Golurk went for Phantom Force after we hit him to just the red, which meant I could take the opportunity to switch while he was gone into the void into George and Earthquake for the W, not losing either of our champions in the process. I love it. Well, we did it. We beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Y with only bug types, and what a ridiculous run that was. Very tough, and the game almost feels like it was designed against bug types, but it proved to be a really fun and dynamic challenge. As always, make sure to subscribe to join the Soph Army and get us to 250,000, and I'll see you guys next time for another challenge video.